All right. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. This is welcome back. Welcome. Tonight is our seventh series in all things business. We want to thank you for joining us tonight. We got one of my favorite trainers, Mr. Dean Tarrolly, who's also been involved with several different businesses. I'm coming live tonight just got here to Nashville, Tennessee, just finished up a big meeting here, and we're so privileged to have him tonight. He's an actor, a former actor, a bartender in the Southern California area. He's also a trainer for network marketing and has done a fantastic job. He just recently moved to the Oregon area because his lovely wife wanted some horse property. So I want to say thank him for taking time out of his schedule to be with us tonight. We posted some of the things he's done. So with that said, Mr. Dean Tarrolly, you there, sir?
I am here. Hey, Mr. T, how are you? Good to good to be on here, and looking forward to spending a few minutes with you and everyone who's getting a chance to take a look at what we're doing.
Well, great. I thank you for your time. So tell us, everybody, how did you get started in acting, first of all? Tell us a little bit how that all came about.
So here's what's crazy, right? I got involved in that industry because I just really couldn't decide what I wanted to do. And I figure in that world, you kind of get to live out a little bit of all these different lifestyles, right? All these different um, occupations, circumstances, and it just looked exciting. And then I kind of fell in love with the process of being on set, getting the script, breaking it down, and then going in and auditioning, and then hopefully you get called back and going through that. It's a whole different world that people don't really. Maybe most people don't really know kind of what goes into it. So, when we hear in our industry, when we hear people say things like, man, you're chasing a dream or you're selling a dream. Shoot, I've known about that for my whole adult life, man. That's kind of the way it works. So,
Okay.
yes, sir.
So, from actor, was you a bartender first or actor first? How did that
Yeah,
work out?
so
How'd that go?
so they kind of go hand in hand, right? The short story is born and raised in Wisconsin, graduated Madison, University of Wisconsin, big school. Had been going out a couple summers during my college time to learn about acting and getting out into I wanted to move to New York. I wanted to study there, which I did. Studied at a great studio there and started to work a little bit and some daytime stuff and some soaps and stuff that people would know. And then my representation kind of made its way out to the West Coast. And when you work a little bit in New York, you tend to come out to where all the studios are, and that's what I did. And just because you come out here to pursue that dream doesn't mean you're working in that dream. So I had to make sure I had the bills paid. So I was bartending at night, working at a very popular place. I went through a few different jobs, but ended up at a very popular club. And I was doing that 3, 4, 5 nights a week. And when that one job wasn't bringing in enough for me to take care of the family the way I wanted to, I got a second job in the golf business. So the reason I tell you that is, my time was at a premium. So I had a bar gig that took me into the wee hours of the morning. I had a second job in the golf business, helping charities raise money from their golf tournaments. And those things started early and running
Right.
around, yeah, running around on TV and commercial auditions. It was time was at a premium for me. There wasn't a lot of it because I was working all the time. So that's kind of how I got involved in it. And man, I love being on set. It's great. But just because you want to be on set doesn't mean you get on set. There's a lot of people out here for a few parts. And so last thing I'll tell you about that, or unless you want to know more, is I consider myself really lucky. I've worked way more than most people that maybe will ever be involved in that business, but not as much as many who were able to continue that career without having to have those side gigs, which I did. But I was really lucky. I've traveled the world doing shows and things and commercials, and so I did understand residual income. So that is a fact.
Well, I think a lot of people get turned on the residuals when you look at it that way. I remember some of the Jackson guys, Michael, matter of fact, Marlon and Tito friends, and got them started in network marketing, and it's amazing they understood because they tend to migrate right into that because they understand residual income. Where a
Yep.
lot of people don't understand the power of residual income. We're
Yep.
used to linear income and not compound income that's coming in, something we do one time and get paid over and over, like you, or like an actor or actress or something of that nature. So that's powerful. So how did you migrate, or what happened? How did you get involved from that aspect and the taste of network marketing? What got you into the industry of network marketing where you could build a residual income?
Right. So what ended up happening was a friend asked me to look. That was it. And I said no 3 times. And I didn't say no out of being negative. I didn't say no out of being skeptical or even, not being interested. I just said no because I couldn't imagine putting one more thing on my plate. Like I said, I was working late into the evenings, at the club, and I was up early in the golf business and running around on these auditions. When would I have time to do this? But fortunately, a really good friend of mine that I'd known for a long time through mutual friends um, asked me 3 times to look, and I said no. And on the fourth time he asked me, I said, okay, let me take a look at this thing. I went to a meeting. There's that word, right? I did go to a meeting. I went with him. I met him there, and I saw the business, and just the concept of it made sense. The concept of what I saw was appealing because it gave me the opportunity to work and build something around my schedule. No job, no boss, no set hours, and that was really compelling to me. So you put residual income with some control of my time and schedule. I was open.
Wow, that's interesting. I was telling a group of people. Matter of fact, it's in my book, the ebook. Everybody, you can go here and subscribe and get the ebook for free. And just released it a couple days ago. But just to help people. When I went, I turned off because the guy had a button on. Couldn't explain it. He said, "Got to go to a meeting," and he couldn't explain it. And here we are, 35 later. I love it. So a friend of yours told you to come have a look at it, and you looked at it. And what
Yep.
did you think after you saw it? That's what got
Well,
you.
like I said, I'd never done anything like this before. I've still never done another company, when I saw this and the idea of building a team and in the particular business that was appealing to me in this was it was a service-based business. So I was like, well, man, I'm already paying for this stuff. Wait, I can make a residual on bills. I that just it to this day it still makes sense to me. So that's ultimately the reason I looked was because of the relationship with the friend that I had. The reason I got started was logically it just made sense to me, especially being able
Yeah.
to have some control of time and schedule, right? Like we get to
Mhm.
pick and choose when we work as long as we want to work or not at all. And that was very appealing to me.
Me, when I got started, I didn't know the guy, but it made so much sense. My first company I got involved with makes so much sense. So after that, you just recently tell us about you just Oregon. Tell us about that
Right.
story.
So I went from the Midwest out to New York City, from New York City out here to LA. And what happened was after over 20 years of being in LA, almost 25 years, um, crazy thing, I met a girl along the way, got married, a family, these things happen, they do. And a number of years ago, my wife was like, I'm, kind of wanting to change. We ended up in the Pacific Northwest, and we moved up there about 6 months ago. And it's crazy, right? So it's funny. I tell people it takes less time for me to fly from Portland to Burbank than it does for me to drive from Hollywood to South Orange County. I mean, it's great. She's an outdoors person. I am too, but she's an animal person. So we're up there, and she's got her horses in the backyard, and ducks and chickens and goats and cows and but hey, this whole thing with being able to build a business online. I mean, this has made a big difference for us because I can work with and help and support the team, and I can do that completely over Zoom, and then come over to where they are, whether it's a team in Ohio or in Texas, or in Southern California, I can get down there so we can use this platform to build and then go into those markets, face to face, and which I think is the
Hmm.
best. It's always the best.
Yeah, like I'm in
Yeah.
Nashville tonight. Yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
know,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Washington, which is where we are, we're about 30 miles north of Portland in a little city in Washington. And yeah, we're piecing this together. It's still we're still in the how do I call it? For me, it's the test phase of kind of figuring out what's working via Zoom in person, but we have a pretty good handle on it, so we're excited.
Well, you know what? One of the blessings of the power of network marketing, unlike most traditional business, you have to live there, buy there, stay there forever. Where with network marketing, I think one of the crown jewels, if you will, is that you can pick up, move wherever you want to go. Like your wife wants to go there, get horse country. You're like, let's do it. We can do this. And the power of it, it gives you the freedom to pick
Mhm.
and choose where you live, pick and choose when you go anywhere. You fly here, fly there to build your business, but it gives you that option, which I think is unparalleled in anything out there, especially traditional businesses. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah. So I think one of the things that happens is there's some unbelievable rewards uh, in network marketing, and not the least of those is personal development and growth, and the things you have to go through and to grow through, right? Um, and you're going to develop as a person into the leader that you need to be to help an organization and help a team build. And a lot of times people don't understand, because someone invited someone to look at a networking company, and they say stuff that's just crazy. They say, get rich overnight and you don't have to work, and none of those things are true. They're not true at all. Unless somebody is born with a silver spoon in their mouth, that you're going to have to work. I'm going to have to work. But this makes so much sense because for most people, in most jobs, their income is reliant on two things: their effort and their time. And if one of those things goes out the window, we can only work so many hours in the day, right? And someone, their effort may be sustainable for a while, but sometimes, you know, uh, life things happen. Well, just imagine that people built a team and we taught people how to do things so they can do them without you. You can teach people and look for people that are better than you. And that's not a threat to you. That's a great part to your business. So, I always tell people when you look at a traditional business, the boss, the owner, the manager, the supervisor, this is really important, I think. The boss, the owner, the manager, the supervisor will teach you everything you need to know to do your job. But they'll never really teach you everything that they know, because when you know what they know, their position becomes vulnerable. So in our
Hmm.
position, it's a little bit different. You're a leader in this industry. You want people to know what you know, because when they know what you know and they put some consistent action and they can do what you do, and you win. And the greatest thing is this: the only reason you win is because they win. The only reason that
Hmm.
people succeed is because their team succeeds. And philosophically, for me, that's very congruent with things that are important to me. And that's one of the best parts about our business. Look, I had two jobs for a long time, and I'm grateful for those jobs. But knowing what I know, this is just such a superior model. If you can see it through, if you can go through the personal development and the inevitable ups and downs that happen in any world, in any industry, job, boss, owner, manager, network marketing, you're going to go through ups and downs. Can you see your way through those things and come out on the other side? And there's a big reward here for doing that. And probably the best one is watching someone on your team get promoted, watching someone on your team succeed, watching someone on your team impact their quality of life, watching someone on your team not miss their kids' game or recital or rehearsal because they don't have to ask a boss for permission to go to be a part of a family event. And I don't know, to me, that's worth it.
There you go. I'm glad you said that. I've got a room full of entrepreneurs in here, a room full And right now you're in that there, got the big screen up, watching you in the big room out there, watching you as I'm out here in the lobby, surrounded by some people. But I got a room full of people out there watching you right now tonight,
Well, here's
here in
hoping they
Nashville.
like that.
Huh?
I said, here's hoping they like that.
Well, you're on the big screen tonight, my friend. You're on a wall to wall. I mean, wall to wall big screen, room full
Oh
of people, and they're
man.
watching. I had to come out here to do it because I just got here a couple hours ago.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, I want to thank you. You know, you said something that's really profound, and I want everybody to understand whether it's network marketing or traditional business, or even in real estate or insurance. It's called. You said personal development is a key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so how, when you're developing personally, right? Because you're going to deal with all kinds of different personality types. And when I say you, I mean all of us. We're going to deal with all kinds of different personalities. We're going to deal with people that have credibility, people who maybe lack some business credibility, people who have personal influence, people who don't. And personal development, becomes this kind of kitschy sort of like, I don't know, catchphrase, like, and it's really important. And I don't think people understand that leaders in any industry, at least in my opinion, they've developed personally. They have developed a skill set to be able to deal with all kinds of different people, all kinds of different personalities. And when you develop personally, and you work on personal development, it's amazing because you realize, at least I did, how much I didn't know. And, I've had conversations with you. It's like you never want to be the smartest person in the room. Like, what are you going to learn? If you're the smartest
yeah,
person in the room, who are you going to learn from? Right. For me, that's not that big of a problem. I'm rarely the smartest person in the room, but I try to be a good listener. And when you develop personally, here's what's crazy, right, Mr. T? So there is a wealth of information, more so than at any time in the history of the world. There is a wealth of information, training, and knowledge available to everyone. To everyone, crack open a book. How about that? There's a novel idea, right? One of my favorites I guess I could go through the list of them later. It doesn't really matter, but one of my favorites in network marketing is a book by John Milton Fogg called The Greatest Networker in the World. And it starts, you know it, the book starts with him saying, I'm going to my last meeting. That's where the book starts. So that should give you an
yeah,
indication. Well, I should read that book. It started there. That's where it starts. And whether they are recordings, or there are videos, or you have books on tape, or podcasts. There's so much out there for people to learn and develop personally from. You guys, how about this? How about leaders in other businesses? I'm a big sports guy. I love coaches. I love what the speeches and the things that coaches say, because if you're doing this business and you're doing it well, you have the opportunity, I should say, to be a coach and help someone develop through their growing pains and their ups and downs. And so personal
yeah,
development is, man, it is huge. It's very hard to develop people on your team past your level of development. So are you holding your team
yeah.
back, right? Are you holding your team back because you're not willing to sort of advance your development? And I think that's
Yeah.
an important question for people to ask themselves.
Very good, very good. I remember, yeah, John Milton Fogg and I have shared this stage a few times together.
See, I didn't even know
Wow.
that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well,
I read that book. I
as a
read that
matter of
book,
fact,
The Greatest Network in the World. I've read that a bunch of times. It's
as a
great.
matter of fact, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I got that book. I'm going to copy away tonight. Somebody in that room tonight is getting a copy from me tonight. I got it. I brought it with me on the road.
There you go.
You know, you and I have shared some places together around the world. We've been on cruises together,
Mhm.
private islands we shared. And every time I see you, I always talk about your daughter, because whenever we go somewhere internationally or travel on a cruise ship or islands, you got your beautiful daughter with you. And what would you say it has done for her to see her dad to be able to take her to exotic places around the world that we've been together. What has that done for your family? What has it done for your daughter?
Well, look, you know, I forget the whole speech or what it was, but we've all heard of this thing called the dash, right? There's the day you're born, there's the day we leave, and there's the dash. And the dash is the quality of life that you have. And the quality of life is rarely about, you know, the things you have, but it's the people in your life and the things you do, right? It's the memories you get to create. So in a business like ours, and I know there's, you know, the industry is great and lots of different companies do lots of different things, but being able to be on those trips is giving her and giving me those experiences, and they're priceless, man. Like, you know, there's been a number of times where I've done training calls for you. We joke around, I've done them for a long time, and she'll sneak onto the call and she'll be on there and y'all will be saying hi. And you know, and she did see you on the cruise, or she did see you in any one of the islands that we've been to on numerous trips. And what's amazing about that is that it's an opportunity to build an experience and share that experience with people that are in the, no pun intended, they're in the same boat that we are. So it's not an anomaly. It's not a one and done. Like anybody can do it. And building those types of memories and being involved in an industry like ours, man, I mean, the old joke is right.
Yeah.
The difference between a trip and a vacation, right? You pay for a trip, someone else pays for a vacation. And that's kind of fun when the company, you know, the company says, hey, you qualified, pack your bags, and that's it. That's that. Just don't be late. You know, don't miss the plane. And we'll see
Yeah.
you whatever island or
I love showing the pictures.
yeah.
Yeah, I love showing the pictures from time to time of you and your daughter on this excursion, you and your daughter on this one. Sometimes I like to surprise you with them when you come on and do a talk for us and
Oh,
show
you
you pictures
have.
of your daughter throughout the years, you know. So
Yep.
let's do this. If anybody's got any questions for Dean Tarrolly out there, put them in the chat and we'll get them answered for you. If you got anybody got a question out there, put in the chat for them. We want to hear from you guys out there. And while you're thinking about your questions, put in the chat. Don't forget to go to Al Thomas official.com and download my free ebook. It just got released about a week ago called God's Gifts. And or you can also get the audio. Go to the channel and download, take the audio. And it's only 20 minutes or so, but it's going to train you, help you understand the gifts that you have. And if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button below. And if nothing else, leave a comment for us because we want to hear all the comments you have of what you enjoyed and what you liked about the call today. You know, this is the last series. We're wrapping this series up. We had 7 people. We're wrapping the series up, and we're going to have a reunion. And the reunion is going to be October the 3rd of all the 7 speakers in the first series. And then we're going to come out with the second series and with 7 more people. So it's almost like we got everything in the can ready to go, like a TV program, because we want to get ahead of ourselves because of, who knows, this is smart business. So if anybody's got in the chat, we'll put in the chat for Mr. Dean Tarrolly tonight. Anybody got a question for him? You want to help answer it? He's there to do this for us. Got a room full of people in there waiting and watching on the big screen TV. Does anybody have a chat out there, Mr. Clemens, at all? Any response yet?
I got a question, Mr. Thomas.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, I want to thank both of you gentlemen for being the giants whose shoulders we can stand on. Well, I listen to Mr. Dean Tarrolly every time I cut the grass, and I listen to you, Mr. T, every time I'm in the gym. And 2 things that really stuck with me from both of you gentlemen is, Mr. Thomas, you taught me that success only comes before work in the dictionary. And with you, Mr. Tarrolly, you told me that you don't win because you want to, you win because you train to. And I just wanted to ask, what was that pivotal moment in your business where you were like, what I'm doing is actually going to make me successful and change my family's future?
I'm gonna tell you something. You just made my day, right? Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because leaders train, and I know for a fact that you watched one of the trainings I did because I haven't used that quote in a minute. So I know that you went back and you either watched it, you wrote it down, and it's funny, right? Like familiarity breeds contempt. And sometimes we wish our own teams would listen to us the way that people outside of other teams because they don't maybe have access to the leaders as much. So when you just said leaders don't win because they want to, they win because they train to. Do you guys remember in this call with the one we're on right now, I said, I love coaches. I love coaches because they look at things a little different. And you just said something, and that was from a coach. That was from Jimbo Fisher, who was the coach at Florida State, and then he went over to A&M and to Texas A&M, and he said, "You don't win because you want to. You win because you train to. So what are you training yourself to do?" So for me, one of the biggest things that happened was I had to take a leap of faith with the leaders that were pouring into me about the events. Like for our company, I know all kinds of companies have events. Plug into your company's events and allow the leaders that are in those companies to pour into you and be open. If you put a cover on a glass and you try to pour into it, nothing's going in. You got to open up and listen to what the leaders, and sometimes the leaders are going to give you advice that you may not want to hear, you may not want to take, and you may not want to implement. In fact, that happens daily. But if you take a leap of faith and trust us that we've been there, no, there's a line, man. There's a landmine there. Don't go there. Don't go that way. Go this way. No, don't say this, say that. And if you take a leap of faith with the leaders that want you to win, why would we ever give you bad advice? If we know your promotion impacts us, if we know that your paycheck impacts us, and we want you to get paid, why would we ever tell you something that wouldn't work? It doesn't make any sense. It's one of the things I love about this business. So it's a really great question, man. So I would tell you the biggest thing is stay plugged into the events, right? That's a big one, man. So well done.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. David Bass. Who else we have in the room, or anybody else around the country, around the world that want to ask a question? Please put in the chat so Mr. Dean Tarrolly can answer it for us. Mr. Clemens, do we have another one?
My name is Megan Haywood. I want to thank you both for tonight, just the wisdom and inspiration that you're pouring into all of us. And my question is around doubt, discouragement, coming up to the heights that you both have came up to, but even in the positions that you're in now, how would you say that you did or you currently combat feelings of doubt or discouragement or simply just not being motivated? What do you do in those moments when you dig deep? What is something you go to often to fight that so you can keep consistently showing up for your team and for yourself and for your family?
This is good. Yeah, wow. Mr. T, I don't know if you want me to do these or are we splitting them?
No, okay. No, you do them, sir. No.
Right.
Tonight's your night, sir. Tonight's your night.
Okay.
I'm off.
Okay. All right.
I'm the interviewer.
So first, wait, don't go away. Come back. You're good. I'm just talking with you. First thing is this is right. Motivation is such an interesting word, and it's such an interesting place to be, right? So here's the thing. I'm not looking to motivate someone. I'm looking for motivated people. How am I gonna like, I could get to know you, I get to know Al. I get to know people that come to our events and on the team, but there's going to be no better motivator than your circumstances. We hear people talk a lot about your reason why. That's important. Well, Al talked about the biggest one for me is family. So I had a big reason why to be able to, give my daughter some of these experiences. And, I think when, when that day comes, when, we've had more life behind us than ahead of us, I think that no one's going to remember, the gift, the thing under the Christmas tree. They will, but you know what they're going to remember? The dinner that you had, the trip that you made, the class that you took together, the sitting out on the porch, watching the sunset kind of stuff. And man, if that's not a motivator, I don't know, I don't know what is. And when you have leaders in this industry, in these companies, and they sit down and they talk to you and they say, hey, look, you had more time and more money. What would you be doing? What do you love to do? What's in your heart? You know, that's why we're doing this. Now, for some people, they kind of laugh at that and they go, what's my reason why? I need to make money. Like, I need to get some bills paid. And by the way, that's okay. People sign up in a business like ours to make money, but it's really what's behind that. So what I tell you is, when it comes to leaders, no matter what point you're at in our industry, in our business, you're going to have people flake on you. You're going to have people say no. One of my favorite things, and I know he'll like to hear this. When I do Mr. Thomas's calls, and he's like, man, I peaked 7 people, 4 of them flaked on me. He's the senior vice president. Guess what? That happens to everyone. We just deal with it differently, right? So one of the other things I would say is this, and here's a big one. The second part of your question, I kind of answered them in reverse, is don't take it personally. Someone doesn't show up. Someone doesn't want to do it. Who cares? So what? Some will, some wait, some won't. Someone's waiting. So what? Move on to the next person. And it's not that you don't care about people. It's that you don't have time to get all caught up in people's yes and no's, right? You know, spend 1 minute with 100 people instead of 100 minutes with one person, right? Your time is valuable, and you have a gift for them. So I would just tell you, don't take it personally, good, bad, or otherwise. The thing I will tell you is this, last thing is, I would caution everyone that watches this. And again, this is one person's opinion, but I absolutely categorically would not accept someone's opinion about what we're doing until they've seen it from your leader. And that is a slam dunk for me. Like, you can have an opinion about it, but until you see it from the leader that I'm working with, your opinion does not count. And hopefully that gives you something.
Thank you so much for that question.
Great
We
one.
have another question out there.
Let's do it.
Mr. Clemens, we have another question out there from the audience.
Maybe they're letting me off the hook easy.
I have a quick question. I want to ask to both of you. You're both giants in this industry, and you've been in it for a while. And network marketing has been in for eons. Do you see any shifts or changing in this industry that we can take advantage of to be successful?
Shifts in the industry. Let me think about this for a second. That's a great question. Let me think about this. Shifts in the industry that we could take advantage. Well, first of all, I mean, I kind of talked about it, right? It's getting good at this. You know, like, look, here's the fact. Zoom isn't going anywhere. Being able to do meetings like this isn't going anywhere. So it's, how do you use it? You know, shifts in the industry is using the tools that are available to all of us to be able to build our businesses effectively and efficiently, right? Like these are all super important things. And unfortunately, you know, shoot, man, it's kind of like you grow or you die, right? Like, if you don't learn how to do some of these things in advance with technology, someone who's willing to do that will talk to someone that you know, and then that person is now on someone else's team. And you got to, you know, cheer them on from the sidelines. Well, shoot, they should have been on your team. And the fact of the matter is that these shifts are important. It doesn't mean shifting who you are, but it's kind of a skill set issue, right? Like, there's some skills we got to learn. Like, shoot, we're doing we're on, you know, we're doing a live here on Zoom and YouTube and whatever else we're on, right? On Mr. Thomas's channel. So, by the way, 5 years ago, we didn't do that. Not that I knew. So times change, but because of a platform like this, you're going to be able to reach a lot of people. So, you know, I'm not the greatest social media person, but I try to post some stuff that's going to catch people's interest, either personally or business wise. If someone goes to my Instagram, like they'll just see, like we were at some concerts this last week. There's a crazy story behind it. Go take a look. I mean, it's fun stuff. One of those people could get interested in what you're doing, and now they want to know. And shoot, you could have a whole new team growing. And it's good to see you, sir.
You know,
I hope, did that answer your question? I hope. Okay, I think you might be muted, but okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll throw a little something in there. You know, you have to be prepared to be able to shift. You know, way back in the old days, we had shift where we went into, we did meetings and hotels and flying here, flying there, and all that, and getting people to hotel rooms whether they showed up or not. And then the situation closes all down. We shifted again into everything's on Zoom, and you got to be able to shift. And a lot of times, here again, internet stuff is new to me too, but I have to be able to shift into not the 21st century. I have shifted into the 22nd century. It took me a while to catch it too, because you have to be able to shift with the industry. We used to live in a linear world. I know we got a question. A linear world. That was a linear. Today we live in an exponential world. For example, if I ask you right now to take 10 steps across the room, because our mind's not geared up for exponential. You know, we're geared up to linear. So 10 steps, I got it. But if I said take 10 linear steps, do you realize you'd be halfway across to China, halfway across the world with exponential steps? So it's getting more. And that's what technology has allowed us to reach out and get to more people quicker. And we don't see them as many. I mean, like tonight, I'm in Nashville, and Mr. Tarrolly's right outside of Washington, and we got people all over the world on the call. I mean, we don't see them, but they're there. So that's the difference. Be able to reach out and touch more people quicker and faster. Next question. I'm sorry. Next question. Hope that helped.
It's okay. Good evening, y'all. I would like to first say thank you guys so much for sharing your amazing gifts. It is absolutely amazing. But I'm Priscilla Fletcher, and I would just like to ask, just as simple as I know how to ask. So basically, what would be the best advice you give someone that, like, speaking on behalf of myself, you have the desire, you have the will, you know you can do this, but you grief and your emotions. What's the best way to like bounce back when you think you're, doing okay, and then you just stuck pretty much. So I just need some help because I feel like I'm stuck. I try, and I just need to see what y'all's advice.
No problem. Don't leave. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there.
Yes.
So we can talk. Okay, cool. So here's the thing, right? You're one person away. You're one person away. And if you've been through some tough stuff, which you probably have, right? How about this? In and outside of ACN, true? In and outside of whatever your business is, true? Okay, cool. You've been through some tough stuff. So check this out. Good for you. How in the world can you help someone through something that you haven't been through? So all these things, these are like you're stacking experiences that are going to make you that leader. So I would tell you, what was the old thing? It's the yeses build your business, but the no's build you. Like those no's that you get. How about this? You ever have anybody flake on you at a meeting?
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool. Me too. Okay, here goes. You and I are literally cut of the same cloth. Here goes. You ever have somebody flake on you? You ever have somebody show up to a meeting and they say, no, I'm not interested?
Yes, sir.
You ever have somebody come to a meeting, they go, oh, it's one of those things, people at the top make all the money.
Yes.
Oh yeah, how about this? You ever have one of those people that says, oh, I ended up with a garage full of this or that or the other and it doesn't work? You ever have one of those? You ever have one of those that says, oh, I went online and I saw this, that, and whatever? You ever have one of those?
Yes.
Okay, me too. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. But here's the thing. You have to go through those people to find your Al Thomas.
Yes.
And he's out there. So every single no puts you closer to a yes. And the reason I know that to be an absolute fact is because not everyone says no. And here's how I can prove it. You're here. I'm here. You know, Mr. Clemens is here. Mr. Thomas is here. Mr. Roberts is here. Like we're here. So I'll tell you this. Here is the frustration. Okay. Hopefully, Mr. Thomas, you're okay with me going here. So here goes. This is from my mom. My mom's the smartest person I know. And she's been through this with me. She doesn't do this industry. She's a crisis counselor. By the way, is that a good person to have in your life? Right? That's
Absolutely.
yeah, no doubt. And here's what she said. So I was going through it, and I've been through many challenges, right? And here's what she said. She goes, "You're frustrated?" I said, "Yeah, I'm really frustrated." And she said, "Here's all frustration is. Frustration is just a blocked goal. That's all it is. There's just something blocking your path to the goal that you want. So the great thing is, how do you work around, how do you unblock your path to that goal? This is the part about personal development. This is the part about just a belief, like you know that this works. Why do you know it? Because you've seen it. So it might be you that needs to tweak something inside. And when I say tweak, I don't mean change, not a big change, a little tweak, a little change. It could be one word that you fix the order of what you're saying to maybe pique someone's interest. And then you're like, oh my God, what Dean said is true. I got 9 people that are open. I hope that makes sense. Well, I think, did we lose them, Mr. T?
No, I think we're okay. Let's see here. Yeah, we should be okay. You know,
They were on here.
yeah. Okay, I want to add a little something to that. You know, one of the things I teach people is really honestly, take as hard as do.
I want to
take
thank
your
her. I just want to make sure that we thanked her for her question because that was awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hope that was helpful.
Yes,
Was that
I always teach
helpful?
people.
I hope. Was that helpful? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh my
God
gosh.
bless.
Yeah, and another thing I would say is take your emotions out of it. You know, it's hard, but we got to get over our emotions. That's what destroys us a lot is our emotion. And remember this, you know, there's 4 aces in a deck of cards. There's 52 cards. You're only looking for the 4 aces. A deuce is not an ace, but they may know an ace. A 6 is not an ace, but they may know an ace. And you got to be careful. There's also 2 jokers in the deck.
That's true. That's true.
We got any other questions, Mr. Clemens? Any more questions, sir? From our audience?
Oh man,
Yes,
they're letting
sir.
me off the hook easy. That's easy.
All right.
All right, so I have one question from some Mr. Cush in Canada. Said, what advice would you have for someone that is limited with cash and they need their job right now? What would you recommend for them on building their business?
Well, first of all, first thing is this is my advice is nobody should quit what they're doing to do this. I don't think now look, I just man, I think that is just that is as irresponsible as anything. People need to have their job and their gig and what they're doing. This is on the side of that. And when we start developing people and building a business that can provide the kind of income that gives people choices, great. But until that time, a plan B or a plan B, a plan C, whatever the case may be. So what I would say when first of all, when money's tight and people are trying to build this business, embrace that story. What a great story. People are going to relate to that. Number one. Number two is this. We're coming into a window of time in the next 60 days that's going to be crazy. You all know it, and so do I. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care what political party's color you bleed. It doesn't matter. It's going, regardless, we're going to come into a window of time where there's going to be a lot of questions and uncertainty and instability and all those things. And in a networking company, you have the opportunity to calm the storm, to put a rudder on the ship, to be able to direct the sail on where it's going, because you have control of your income and your production in a business like ours. How great, right? So Cushion, it's a great question. So what I would say is this: little victories every day. What's a little victory? Pique someone's interest, get them interested. Victory. Talk to someone about helping them maybe save some money on some of their bills, or if they're in a health business, something for their, whatever the case may be. Little victories, man. And you start stacking those things up. Watch what happens. I don't want to play on someone's fear of what's coming in the future. What's coming is coming anyway, right? So we have something in this industry, we have something to be able to give someone. So that's what I would have that person talk about. One of our mentors, he used to say something, you're a hope dealer here, right? You get to deal in hope for people, you give them hopium, right? Like to me, that resonates. That resonates because that's what people need right now. They need a vehicle to know that there's some hope out there for them to be able to have a quality of life or take the pressure off, get some bills paid, college education, car note, whatever the case may be. And we have a vehicle to be able to do that. So Kush, I would tell you to tell that person, you're a success story in the making, right?
Yeah.
Someone's going to relate to that person's position, and let's get a little victory. Let's start stacking up little victories, and those little victories in hindsight end up becoming pretty big. So
yeah, I would say that's a great answer. Matter of fact, I would add on to that, guys. I'd say do a little bit every day to move your business forward, a little bit every day to move it forward, because everybody starts part-time. I totally agree with it. Don't quit what you're doing, but do an hour or two a day in your whatever your business is. And then 2-3 years later, you can, once you match it and put money away, then you can do what you want to do, but you'll know in your heart.
absolutely.
But right now, put an hour or two a day every day. We got one last question for you, Mr. Dean Tarrolly. One last question for the night. We're going to wrap it up, sir. Last question, sir, Mr. Clemens.
Yes, sir. The last question, someone typed in, do you have any suggestions on audiobooks for self-development?
Man,
Yeah,
how
go to
much
my-
time,
Watch
how
all my
much
videos.
time do we have? Well, I told you the one right out the gate, the greatest network in the world, how to win friends and influence people is awesome. The other one that I would say is The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And boy, that's a biggie, right? Those are three. And your first year of network marketing. Now, when you read your first year of network marketing, understand that book is dated. So there's going to be technology things that you're not really you're going to read it and you're going to go, well, people haven't done that in years. And you're right. But the principles behind that book, I think, are really good. So those are four right there, right off the top of my head. I like it when people start with The Greatest Networker in the World, because it's an easy read. It reads like a script. It's a lot of dialogue and it's fun and it's the story and you'll relate to it. And then How to Win Friends and Influence People, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, Think and Grow Rich. Those are great. Those are great books. And I will, parenthetically, I'll just add this. I think that I think it's great to have the book. It's great to hear it in the car, right? It's great to hear it in the car. But if you have the book and you can go back and you can reread it and you can highlight and underline and make notes. And I am not a fan of giving books to people. Not what Mr. Thomas is going to do. I guarantee you he's not giving that person his only copy of The Greatest Networker in the World. See? No way. That's not his copy. That's a copy. So you build that library for yourself and watch what happens.
That's a great question. I think Think and Grow Rich, one of the favorites I would say is also Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
And then his second book that he came out with, read that one first and only read Cash Flow Quadrant by him second after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad first.
Agreed.
That's the only way. Those are the greatest books. And also, you talk about the greatest networker, powerful books, ladies and gentlemen. So
Great book.
appreciate you. Listen, we're going to cut it right there. We want to thank Mr. Dean Tarrolly for coming in tonight, and we had a great time with him, and we went on and on. I love you guys' questions. I love it. So once again, go to althomasofficial.com. Download the book. It's a free book on there. It's my ebook, brand new, first came out a week ago. Ebook on God's gifts, and I tell you, I think God wrote it, and I just used my hands. Or you get to download the audio, and you can ride in your car and listen to the audio, and you can hear the story about James Moore, who got me with the button. And first guy showed up in the meeting, and that's how I got him. My first IBO showed just by showing up. Also, hit the subscribe button if you have not hit the subscribe button, and also leave a comment. Leave a comment. And the fourth thing I want to tell you is share this with as many people as you possibly can, because it's going to get their interest going, and then they want to know what you're doing and who's this, what's going on. And next thing you know, they'll be in your business. So with that said, Mr. Dean Tarrolly, I want to thank you for tonight. I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule up there from your family to be on here tonight. And I'll tell you what,
down in Southern California. I'm down in SoCal right now, so I'm bouncing back and forth. So I'm in Southern California for a couple of days, and then they'll be heading back up. So there you go.
Man, what a life! What a life, folks. Would you like his life? I mean, think about his life. Going back and forth, ranch with the horses and cows and sheep and gophers, and because he can. And then it'll be a blessing to be able to tell your wife, baby, whatever you want, go pick it out. Go do it. We love it. So with that said, sir, thank you so much for a glorious time tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, this is posted live. We want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Take care. God bless. We'll see you real soon. And like I said, go to subscribe, go get the ebook, or go get the audio. Thank you so much, Mr. Dean Tarrolly. Appreciate